Hello, adventurer! I came here to give you some wisdom for your adventures as I'm an adventurer myself. You leveled up through rain, wind, hardship and sweat, became a strong tank. You swore an oath to protect your party from any harm. Now you're ready for adventure. You got your party from the finest adventurers in town, walked mountains and deserts to reach that treasure you seek. But I heard you use your taunt. But it doesn't work on creatures. Instead, creatures are overwhelming your party members. That's actually a problem many players are having at the moment. Because even though they use taunt, mobs run around and focus on different people in dungeons. Because taunting in this game can go wrong. In this video, I'll help you to understand what's causing you to lose aggro, and then we can talk about the best build recommended for tanking. Because those recommendations will also be a remedy for people who are having problem with their tanking. I will mark the minute where build recommendation starts, so you can directly go there if you want to. Also, your support is always appreciated. If you like these guides and want more of them, please subscribe. So the first reason for losing aggro. To aggro mobs, your taunt skills are not simply enough. Without gems, your taunt skills will not be as effective. Pretty much says so in skill description. For your taunt to work effectively, you need carnelian gems. After putting the gems on your weapon slots, you will absolutely notice the difference. And some of you will say, taunt works just fine with me. And yes, taunt skills do taunt mobs, but I have played tank too, and having gems makes it 10 times more effective. If you taunted 4 mobs running around, without gems, only one of them turns their attention to you. And not to mention, if you're pugging, it also prevents other people stealing mobs from you unintentionally if they are using taunt skills or gems without knowing it, because other DPS weapons have taunt too. And also, pugs live in another planet and their logic works depending on their planet. So basically, to tank you will need your weapons to have gem slots, which depends on your RNG to drop. But until you get your best weapons, you can also buy them from the market. Or you can use faction weapons that has gem slots until you get a better one. Second reason is probably the game AI. Even though you have gems, some aggro will still go to your healers, because as far as we know, healing generates aggro. And if your healer is also attacking, this heal plus damage combo might be stealing mobs from you. As people actually complained about this in the forums and in other places, healing generates too much aggro. Maybe they nerf it in the future, but who knows. But one extra information I learned through playing thanks to one of my dungeon groups, that precasting heals also hurts aggro. Tank may actually taunt the boss, but if there are precasted heals, boss might run to you instead of your tank. So precasting is a no-no in this game. Third reason is probably your DPS have their head in the clouds. Because when you are clearing dungeons, DPS are supposed to wait tank to gather mobs and then start hitting. But out of 3 DPS, there's always one doing whatever they want. After tanks hit, taunt and run, a DPS might be hitting the mobs right after you and stealing the aggro from you until you get to the point you want to tank them. And the last reason is, this is a small chance, but there are ways you can generate threat and taunt for a short duration of time with other DPS weapons. Or your DPS might have gems that increases their threat unknowingly. So, how to be better at creating threat and keeping aggro? Firstly, we know blocking does generate threat. When you are tanking, you won't have much time to damage. You have to block. So when your taunt skills are on cooldown and you're blocking, you can still keep the aggro. Dodging and getting hit, on the other hand, decreases threat, which will cause you to lose aggro. So blocking and taunting are ways to go. And do damage if you can, but avoid dodging and getting hit as much as you can to keep the threat you generate highest. Secondly, for tanking, shield and sword is absolutely necessary. This is not a suggestion. This weapon combo will give you 2 taunt skills and passives to increase threat you create. I'm assuming people who wants to learn tanking watching this video, so if you have weapons other than shield, for example great axe or hammer, you might think, but I have a tanky build. Either you or your healer will be traumatized if you try tanking high level dungeons with those 2 weapons. Though you can get away with using these weapons in low level dungeons and you can kill hordes of mobs in the open world content, but do not let this fool you. Well, you have been warned for the high level dungeons. Again, with Rapier, you can use gain Carnelian synergy to pull aggro, but that aggro is only enough to take mobs off your healer, not to tank. So all in all, 2 things are absolutely recommended. First is using sword and shield, second is using gems on your weapon slots. Now let's come to the best build for tanks. Since you will be wearing your shield on the slot and your sword on this slot, you will still have another slot on your weapon bar that you can swap. And that weapon can be great axe for DPS, hammer for CC, and any other weapon you enjoy actually. But here I will give perfect off-tank build as a focus staff being the secondary weapon because I have reasons. This is how your tank build will look like after giving points to all necessary skills. I recommend getting the taunt skills first, which are these 2. The order of getting other skills depends on you. I recommended heal staff because in this game blocking depends on your stamina and you mitigate damage as much as your stamina allows. And there's this trait in heal staff, if you put this AoE under you, it doubles your stamina regeneration as much as you stand on it, and also heals you. Another point is that your healer might die during the boss fight. Your heals won't be as effective as your healers because heal staff takes its power from focus, but your points will be on constitution. But it's still better than nothing. A DPS weapon wouldn't help you if you lose your healer at a critical time. Thirdly, there are other passives on heal staff skill tree that might help you, like haste. As your stats, off-tanks give all their points to constitution. This causes off-tanks and healers to suffer in the open world content because of that, because you don't have any damage. But as good sides, there aren't many proper tanks and healers, so you will easily find dungeons and will be added by many players. All in all, you will be a wanted player in the endgame content. These are the skills and their passives one by one you will see on your screen until the end of this video now.